Hello everyone, and welcome back to Planet Coaster. My name is Steven Marqueteros, and last episode I said that we were going to fix up this coaster and make a pretty sick themed coaster that was going to be pretty awesome. Unfortunately, at the time, I didn't realize exactly how much work that I was going to be putting into this. You know, I thought it was just going to be something that would take me maybe like an hour or two, but so far I've put about 4 hours into this, and I'm starting to get a little tired of building things in this game. So I'm going to present to you guys the Meat Factory building, which is an extension onto our Western Zone area. We have the nice wooden coaster over there. I'm not sure if I've actually accepted a name for that. I'll have to check through the comments, so in this episode, so we can actually see that. And so we have this nice new meatpacking facility that actually looks pretty sweet from the outside. It's got a nice little roof. There's interior to it, so, you know, we got a nice little inside section like that, which opens up into the actual docking zone. I didn't have any time to put any sort of decorations up in here, but you get that if I would have had more time, I would have been able to do that. And then through here, we have this zone where it comes around to kind of this storing shipping area. And then essentially we just, we go up and come back down, and we go through that entire process. I decided to make this, like a sci-fi area in the future, because the sci-fi zone, I believe, is going to be constructed around here somewhere, depending on how we end up actually getting over there, which is going to be funky, because that's actually pretty far away, so I might not end up doing that. This could be its own little independent area from everything else, but you know what, that's fine. So yeah, this is essentially how this ride ended up working out for me. It actually has a high track rating on it, which is pretty awesome. Track scenery rating is high, and I believe we actually have a path scenery rating of 100%. Yep, there we go. Queue scenery rating of 100%. It's a nice long queue, so we don't have any problems with that. And yeah, I don't see why not to open it up. We're actually almost at $100,000. We're 1/10 of our way to the goal. However, I don't think it's going to be too many more episodes, primarily from the fact that we can just let this run and build up cash over time, especially if we do anything super significant. So yeah, just having all of this done just really made me think about how complete this park is becoming. We have this nice little regular forested zone here, and at the same time, we have this nice little western area that is half desert with the wood coaster and half sort of desert foresty type area with the meatpacking facility and that kind of stuff. So without any sort of other rationale for that, I think it's about time to get this thing open, because some of our other coasters are beginning to wear off a little bit. There's 1,800 people in the park. It does look like many people have actually gone back to actually riding the other rides, which could account for why our revenue has increased so much recently. Ooh, we actually have some research to reveal first. Let's see what this is. The sundial. There we go. Awesome. Is there anything else we can research? Yeah, we can get the Freedom of Flight. That could be a pretty cool coaster, or Great Machinations. But we'll go for this one. We'll drop a little bit of money on that, because it's good to be developing new things in case we want to build something. Yeah, look at that. We've pulled in some pretty good cash flow recently, in excess of almost $6,000 that month. So yeah, that's actually pretty good, because that means that people are starting to ride the more generic ones. They're, you know, getting out of their comfort zone. However, when we do end up reopening this, I do feel that we may run into a little bit of that issue that we've had before. However, I do think that they will like this ride very much so. So let's open this. I'll call this Oasis now. Thank you for your comment. Whoop, there we go, Oasis. Okay. And yeah, let's open Oasis and let's see how the people actually like it. All right, there we go. So it's open now. It has essentially a scenery rating of something incredibly high. I think, yeah, 1,012, which is pretty darn good for a ride of this stature. Hopefully people will enjoy the very long queue lines. We can get a lot of people here, and they'll be able to buy a bunch of stuff along their way, because we have all of these things. Yeah, there we go. Got everybody queuing up here. I just wanted to make sure that all these sizes are right and that we're not chopping off these people's heads. So yeah, it's a low ceiling, but I kind of like it. It makes it feel kind of crowded. All right, yeah, I'm glad that I built that queue to be so long, because we really have a lot of people queuing up for this ride. Hopefully the ride doesn't break down and get like, oh, are all these people turned off by it? Oh, the queue for it looks massive. They're all turning back because it's too long of a queue. So essentially, the consensus on this ride wasn't anything great. Black Falcon 2, not a whole lot of people were really sure what needed to happen to it. And, you know, I agree with that. Black Falcon 2 isn't the most interesting ride that we've ever constructed, so moving it, or just literally deleting it, may be in our best interest. I will go through one comment before we continue constructing the park, and that's from TreyBoy SoFly3, posted 4 days ago as of this video recording. And he says the recommendation for this ride should be called the Lone Ranger, which I think is actually a pretty darn good name for this one, because it is sort of like that. It's got its ups and downs and explosions and everything, and it could be something out of some sort of good old Western that could be pretty darn exciting. But yeah, as far as Black Falcon 2 goes, I think what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to move it again, but I still need to know what to do with it. So, guys, if you could tell me what you want done with this ride, that would be fantastic, because honestly, at this point, I'm not even sure what to do with it. All right, I think I'm just going to put it, like, right in the back of the park, like, right back there, and it can just, it can continue to chill for as long as it really needs to. There we go, we've actually broken the $100,000 mark, which is pretty great. So one of the things I really want to work on doing is building a coaster that goes pretty darn fast, gets us a lot of airtime, and can go through a rather large amount of people at a time. Because if we can do that, that is essentially the business model to success. So far, we've operated this ride for a little while, and I've noted that it isn't making us a whole ton of money. I mean, the thing is pretty much widely booked right off the bat. I'm charging almost $17.50 per ticket, and yet it's only generating us around $675 in revenue. And that makes me consider that maybe we should actually raise the ticket prices on some of our other coasters to try and extort a little bit of more money out of the people. Mainly because this wooden coaster here is making like 5 times more than this brand new coaster that we spent forever working on, which could attest to the fact that I did decide to use a 2-seated carriage when I had built that, but that was something that I considered at the time. People still think this is a good value for some reason. 8% still think that's a good value at $17.50 a ride. That is just absolutely insane, in my opinion. Actually, I think we're losing money on this coaster too, but you know, that's beyond the point. The point is to build a good theme park as well. All right, so let's actually take a look at that research that we got. So, where do I actually do that at? There we go. Research freedom of flight. Let's see what this gives us. All right, so this gives us the Pioneer coaster. I've never actually used that one. It isn't. Well, actually, this one says phenomenal speed, so this could actually be what we want. So let's actually dedicate a good $2,000 a month on getting that one developed. Hopefully, we'll get that done in about 67 days, which is around 2 months. And in the meantime, for that, I guess I would be more than willing to go around and check and see. Actually, the DodgeLand Overseer has now had such minimal amount of attendance that it is actually starting to make us lose more money than we're gaining. All right, there we go. Now we have an ATM machine, so if people need to buy something, they can go ahead and do that. And it looks like that our research project has finally gone through and was completed. Phenomenal speed. And it looks like we have Invincible, the coaster. Now let's take a look at this one. I think this is a gigacoaster, so to speak. It's an incredibly fast coaster in its regards. Now that I actually think about it, it does make sense to build the sci-fi area right over here. I wasn't actually planning that out before, because we do have the main loop, at least the central loop as I like to call it, right here, where anyone can decide to go into which zone they want. I really should probably build accesses to the zones from each other through here. I want to make this one like just super, super awesome and super, super amazing. So yeah, here we go. We got Giga Invincible. All right, so how does this work? Can partially lift. As a cable lift, can partially invert, and it's for all ages. Yeah, so this thing goes through an insane amount of people. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36 people. I think that I have finally christened this brand new design. I think it's something that I really like, and I think that something that the park really truly needs. A nice fast-paced coaster that can hold a ton of people. Now, I was able to get about 6.5 to 10 seconds of airtime out of this, depending how you measure it. This thing used to be a little bit more intense before I decided to edit that and make it a little bit higher, I think is what I did. I could probably actually try to bring down the size of that a little bit. We might be able to get a little bit more airtime off of that. Not really 100% sure on that. Nor am I really even 100% sure how airtime works in general. I know it's due to like negative vertical G-forces, but yeah, we could always bring that down a little bit, maybe like smooth it out, and we may be able to get a little bit more airtime out of that. So yeah, I kind of want you guys to ride this one just to get a feel for what kind of coaster it is. All right, so basically how this works is it goes right out of the gate, and it goes down one of those nice little kind of entry zones where we have some nice trim brakes that lead it up to our cable lift, which is going to pull it up that giant long thing pretty swiftly, pretty easily. It isn't truly fast because we can't get at a very good angle above 45 degrees, because otherwise then the cable lift would literally be more like an elevator, and we'd be at greater risk for failure in that situation, which is not good. And once we get to the top here, then it pretty much throws us into a pre-drop, sort of, where we can level out. We fall down, and that's when the magic begins, because then we fall into our first drop, which takes us right past a couple pieces of metal. And then we go over this nice hill here, a little bit slowly. Could have brought that down a little bit in design. And then we go through our first set of trim brakes there. Those should never really ever become a problem unless there's some sort of emergency on the ride. This is something new that I've never done before, where I essentially build my own helix. We go pretty deep on the roll there. It's not too bad. Then we get ourselves in through this trim brake, where we go through our first airtime hill. There we go. Some epic airtime right there. Alright, this one isn't particularly fast, but I hope that decreasing the speed on that will make us go, or decreasing the height on that will make us go through that a little bit better. Alright, and then through and into here. And then essentially back up and around, and that is this coaster. We basically give ourselves some trim brakes, and then we go into the block section, which pushes us forward at a reasonable speed down back into the station. Of course, I probably haven't controlled the station entry velocity too well, but that's totally alright. And actually, the testing results on that ride are pretty darn good. The nausea is only at 1.08, the excitement is hovering a little bit below 7, and the fear is only at less than 5. So it's actually pretty good on all regards. That'll definitely get a bunch of people going to it. They will pay a good amount of money if we can get that track scenery rating pretty darn high, and we are able to do that. And we can probably make quite a bit of a fortune off of that if we're able to pull this whole stunt off. So yeah, essentially that's a lot of what's been going on here. Oh look, this thing's actually starting to pay itself off a little bit. That coaster was incredibly expensive to build. That thing was pricey. $38,000 was the total cost of that ride. So yeah, this isn't really something that we can delete because it's worth a ton of money. And doing that wouldn't be good. I wish I could actually see the value of all of these things so I could know if I need to like sell it right now, how much money I would get back out of it. So yeah, that's essentially the gist of what we're doing in this episode. We're going to need to open that. It is probably, I believe, the tallest ride in the park. Yep, I believe it's even taller than the DodgeLand Overseer, just by a couple of meters. So yeah, it's pretty epic. Well, I guess it's not really taller than this one here, the Sunflare. Sunflare is expensive for an old ride. What? How many people are still queuing for that? Like, not a lot. I guess we'll bring it down a little bit. Bring it down to $650. I guess if I'm already charging people like $1,800 to go on Oasis over there, and we're charging the mine train like $100 and the wood coaster also like $100, you know, I guess we're doing all right. Look, the wood coaster's lifetime profit of almost $50,000. It's almost one of our most profitable coasters. I feel like we could almost build an entire park just out of wood coasters, and that would be something in itself. So yeah, we are having some downtime here. We're starting to, take a little bit, hit our money, but I'm hoping that if we open this coaster right, we give it a good rating, and we charge ridiculously high prices for it, we will be able to rocket ourselves above and beyond. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. This is a ton of fun. If you want to see more, make sure you click that red subscribe button down below. You guys know where it is. Otherwise, give us a thumb and tell us how you are doing in the comments section. My name is Steven Marcateros, and I will see you guys next time.